Oh, hey guys, what's going on? It's MJ's Raw Review, and I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au. Awesome Raw Review for the viewers at home today on an all-new sleep support supplement from our good friends at Switch Nutrition. It is, of course, Sleep Plus in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you exactly what it's going to do, exactly what's in it. The nutritional information panel on this tiny little tub ain't gonna get it done. We about to go balls deep in this here Switch Nutrition Sleep Plus. Luckily, we got a big ass nutritional information panel appearing on screen for the viewers at home, so you guys can play along at home. Stunned from the top. Serving size, 1 scoop, 8 grams. Got ourselves about 30 of them 1 scoop, 8 gram bitches in each of these Sleep Plus bitches. In terms of what the 8 grams is made up of, we do have some macros in here, so we are going to dive into them. This is for the chocolate flavor. The macros do vary across the different flavors, but we're going to dive deep into the chocolate because that's the crowd favorite. More on that when we get into taste and mixability. We're talking about 22 calories per scoop, made up of 3 grams of protein, primarily coming from the aminos in this formula. About half a gram of fat. I think that's probably going to be coming from the flavors, and that is the most fat attributed to the chocolate flavor as well. We've got just under a gram of carbohydrates, and say it's also probably coming from the flavors too. Almost no sugar, 0.1 gram of sugar in there. So from a macros perspective, barely even worth mentioning. But I do like to mention it because we like to go balls deep. In terms of the active ingredients, count them up with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's my personal lucky number right there. 13 active ingredients. If we do a quick sum and we add up all of the actives, we're dealing with just over 5 grams of actives. To be exact, and just because I went to the effort to actually add them all up here, we're dealing with 5,014.605 milligrams of actives with a little sprinkle of some lactospore in there. We're not sure exactly how much that weighs. So 5,000, let's just call it over 5 grams. There's 63% active ingredients, 37% inactive ingredients, which is going to be your flavors and your sweeteners. It is naturally colored. It is naturally sweetened as well, as we've come to expect from Switch across the entire line. No exceptions here with the Sleep Plus. Let's dive into these actives. We're going to work from the top down. Tart cherry concentrate, 50-1 extract in here, 500 milligrams. Tart cherry contains naturally occurring melatonin. Melatonin we can't use in Australia because it's a prescription-only drug. That was my little sigh for the TGA watching. But we can use the tart cherry extract, which contains naturally occurring melatonin. It's not going to be a lot, but it is a little bit in there. Melatonin is the primary hormone responsible for sleep and wake cycles, primarily responsible for setting our circadian rhythm, and primarily responsible for getting us to sleep. So that's what the melatonin is doing in there. From the naturally occurring melatonin, let's not get it twisted, from the tart cherry extract concentrate. We then move into the holy basil. This is a 10-1 extract, standardized for 2% urolosic acid or urosolic acid. It's a tongue twister right there. 500 milligrams. This is going to help regulate cortisol specifically, which is going to promote psychological relaxation specifically. So we've got some nice synergism between the naturally occurring melatonin from the tart cherry extract concentrate. We've got some nice synergism with the regulation of cortisol from the urosolic acid from this holy basil extract. We then move into some phosphatidylserine, or phosphatidylserine. So serene. 100 milligrams in here. This is also going to help regulate cortisol, so some nice overlap with the holy basil extract. Once again, going to promote psychological relaxation. We then move into the Griffonia extract. This is containing naturally occurring 5-HTP, which is an abbreviation for hydroxy tryptophan, 5-hydroxytryptophan. This is a precursor to serotonin, which is one of our neurotransmitters that is primarily responsible for mood regulation, but actually sits along the line of the production of melatonin as well. It's going to also promote psychological relaxation. We then move into L-glycine, our first amino acid, making an appearance, 2.5 grams, big dose of glycine in here. Glycine is an inhibitory neurotransmitter in its own right, as well as being an amino acid, of course, going to help promote psychological relaxation. And it also helps stabilize blood sugar, which is interesting when we come to things that could possibly wake us up in the middle of the night, maybe fluctuations in blood sugar. Let's put some glycine in there, stabilize the blood sugar. In theory, going to help us stay asleep. We then move into some myo-inositol, a 900 milligram dose of myo-inositol. This assists neurotransmitter signaling in particular. Once again, an ingredient that's going to promote psychological relaxation first and foremost. Then we move into the lactospore, the 2 billion CFU lactospore. This is going to help with gut health. And this is particularly important because we know a lot more now, still not a lot, but we know a lot more now about the gut-brain axis, specifically serotonin. We've spoken about serotonin already, one of those neurotransmitters that's specifically involved in mood and a chain along the production of melatonin. 95% of serotonin in our bodies is actually produced in our gut. That's a lot of serotonin in the gut. So gut health is specifically important when we talk about gut-brain axis for the production of serotonin. Serotonin, specifically important for the regulation of mood and also the production of melatonin. So touching on gut health and what Switch have done with the inclusion of lactospore in here is quite innovative, I must say so myself. We then move on to some magnesium. As magnesium citrate in here, we've got 320 milligrams. It's going to help promote physical relaxation. So we've got a lot of ingredients that's going to help promote psychological relaxation. Magnesium helps promote physical relaxation, helps downregulate nerve stimulation, helps with really muscle relaxation more than anything. So big dose of magnesium in here. We've got some vitamin C, 80 milligrams in here. We've got some zinc, 12 milligrams in here. Zinc is particularly important with synthesizing N-acetyl serotonin, which is one step between serotonin and melatonin along the production of melatonin chain. So important for that production there. And then we've got some B vitamins. So we've got vitamin B6 as pyridoxal 5-phosphate, 3.2 milligrams. We've got vitamin B9 as 5-MTHF, also known as folate, is in a 400 microgram dose. And then we've got vitamin B12 as methylcobalamin in a 5 microgram dose. All of these B vitamins are really important with synthesizing both serotonin and melatonin. So they're important cofactors when we talk about, we go tryptophan to 5-HTP to serotonin to N-acetyl serotonin, and then finally to melatonin. These B vitamins are important across those different, synthesizing those different parts of that chain to get us to melatonin, which is where we want to be because that's the primary hormone that helps us sleep. Whew! It's a stacked formula. What is it missing? Not a whole lot, to be honest. There's a few things that we can kind of pick on. I think probably the most obvious omissions in this formula from a sleep support supplement perspective is ashwagandha. First and foremost, we know ashwagandha is super important when it comes to regulating cortisol. That being said, there's like those first, 6-7 ingredients were about regulating cortisol and promoting psychological relaxation. So there's definitely not a gap in the formula there. It's just interesting that Switch have omitted, consciously omitted ashwagandha, and we'll touch on why, because they use it in one of their other products at the end of this video when we compare those. So ashwagandha is missing. L-theanine is also missing, which is an amino acid specifically useful when it comes to relaxation. They haven't put that in here, and I think that that's probably, once again, a conscious omission, similar to ashwagandha. Missing L-tryptophan, although we do have griffonia, which naturally yields 5-hydroxytryptophan, which is one step along the chain of synthesizing melatonin, but tryptophan is missing. Then we don't have any hops in here, we don't have any valerian in here, which are ingredients that we generally see in sleep formulas. Both, once again, promote both physical and psychological relaxation. So we are missing a few ingredients if we're like, okay, well, we've seen these in different sleep formulas, but in terms of like the effects that we're trying to get from a sleep formula, very, very comprehensive. In terms of how it tastes and how it mixes, comes in 4 flavors, viewers at home. Comes in chocolate, which goes straight to the biceps. We know that because we talked about the macros in the chocolate. Comes in salted caramel, which is the tub we have right here. That's my personal tub, as a matter of fact. Comes in tropical fruit flavor. Comes in lemon squash flavor, which I do not get down with because you know I don't fucks with citrus. You know that. Everyone knows that. It's not my vibe. Infamous MJ's taste and mixability test about to go down. Now, we're about to make raw review history here, viewers at home, because never before have we done a hot taste test. I've come prepared. For the very first time, I brought a kettle with some pre-boiled, look at the steam coming off that, some pre-boiled water ready to go. The reason for it is because we're gonna follow these directions bang on. So best served hot, that's the first part of the directions. That's what we're gonna do. Mix 1 scoop, 8 grams of Sleep Plus powder into 200 to 250 mils of hot water, milk or a milk alternative, 30 to 90 minutes before bed. Well, I'm not 30 to 90 minutes before going to bed, so we're gonna mess that up. But we are gonna take we're gonna...
Today, Junior?
Look, I'm just gonna say it's gonna be about 200 mils of water here. Boiling water, pre-prepared boiling water out of my kettle. What do you reckon? That's about 200 mil? That looks to me about 200 mil. So we're gonna take that 200 mil right there. We're gonna take 1 scoop of the Sleep Plus, my personal tub, the salted caramel, which it's almost empty, so you guys know I've been using it. Let me go take this 1 scoop here. I will say that these scoops are bang on 8 grams as well, so you want to be getting a level scoop. It looks like that. Throw this bitch in this bitch. Let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist on the Sleep Plus. We'll show you guys how it mixes. Let me refresh my memory. Got some on the side of the double wall glass there. On how this salted caramel flavor tastes, man. Good. I think that is sufficient. As you guys can see, mixes pretty damn well. I'm gonna go so far as to say Turbo Ball is not required for this Sleep Plus formula. I will say though that I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it here for enough time, but if you do kind of leave it, and because you're mixing it hot, it's not something that you're going to like mix up and drink straight away. You're going to sip on it for, you know, 30 to 90 minutes before you go to bed, according to the instructions on the Sleep Plus. It is something that it does set, not significant, but it does settle a little bit, and it forms almost kind of like a bit of probably gel is the best way I can explain. Not a lot, right? It's like it'd be like probably like a thumbnail worth of gel down the bottom. So it is just something to keep in mind if you are going to be sipping on it, because you're mixing it up hot. When you get towards the bottom of it, you might just want to get a little bit of this action going, a little bit of flicks of the wrist action going on, just to mix that gel up so that it doesn't, so you're not left with gel at the bottom of your cup or your mug and not in your body, which is where you want it. Let me refresh my memory on how the salted caramel flavor tastes, man. It's hot. It's a good flavor. It's a good flavor. It's a nice, easy to drink, I would go so far as to say probably mild flavor. It's not super punchy. It's not super sweet. It's actually something that just before you go to sleep that like you enjoy drinking. I've tried the salted caramel flavor. I've tried the chocolate flavor. I haven't tried the lemon squash flavor. I have no interest in trying the lemon squash flavor, and I haven't tried the tropical flavor either. But the chocolate and the salted caramel are both very good, very easy to drink. I will say both of them have quite a unique mouthfeel and texture to them. It's almost like I was saying, they kind of settle and form a bit of a gel. It's almost like there's a bit of a gelatin type mouthfeel and texture to it. Not bad, like it's actually quite a nice mouthfeel and texture, but it is something that will, the first time you try it, you'll definitely go, ooh, that kind of has some sort of unique texture to it. My personal favorite, if I'm gonna go between the chocolate and salted caramel, two flavors I've tried, I actually like the salted caramel better. The way that I've been mixing it up, just as I showed you guys, is once I've kind of mixed it, I put a little dash of lactose-free milk in the top as well, and that adds, I guess, a little bit of like a milky mouthfeel and texture to it. That's how I've been having it, and it is an absolute treat to have before I go to bed every night. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking sleep formula for, you want it to help you sleep better. I think really important that we kind of define what we're looking for in a sleep formula. Like what are the effects that we're trying to get out of a sleep formula? Obviously, like we want to sleep better, but let's get a little bit more granular, a little bit more specific. What do we want a sleep formula to do? I think there's really three main things. The first one is we want relaxation, right? We want a sleep formula to put us in a state psychologically where we can get to sleep so we're not lying in bed with like a racing mind. We want a sleep formula physically to get us in a position where we can sleep, where we're not like laying in bed with like, you know, tight muscles, aches, those sorts of things, and it's keeping us awake. We want a sleep formula effectively to relax us both physically and psychologically, to really kind of help reduce what's known as sleep latency, which is the amount of time from like when we go, yes, we're gonna try and get to sleep now, to when we actually get to sleep. We wanna try and get that time period as short as possible. Ideally, our head hits the pillow, we're asleep within a few minutes. That's the ideal situation. So we want a product to help relax us physically, psychologically, reduce our sleep latency. The second effect is we want a sleep formula to help improve the quality of our sleep. And there's two parts to this. The first part is we want, once we're asleep, we want it to help keep us asleep. We don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. We want to stay asleep. Secondly, as we go through our sleep cycles, which usually is like light sleep, let's say like moderate sleep, like deep sleep, and then like REM sleep, and then we come back out of it and we go kind of deep sleep, we go like moderate sleep, we go light sleep, and some of us might wake up, and then we go, and we do these sleep cycles, right? And depending on how often, how much sleep we get, most of those sleep cycles for most of us will go about 90 minutes. So if we're sleeping for, let's say like 6 hours, we'll get 4 of those sleep cycles. If we're sleeping for 7.5, we'll get 5. If we're sleeping for 9 hours, we'll go through like 6 of those sleep cycles. When we're going through those sleep cycles, we really want a sleep formula to get us to that really deep, rapid eye movement sleep as quickly as possible and keep us down there for as long as possible, because that is the real rest, recovery, consolidating memories, really muscular recovery. That's the sleep, that's sleep right there. That's the sleep we want. So we want a sleep formula to help get us to that real deep, rapid eye movement sleep and keep us there. Those are really kind of the two effects that make up increasing sleep quality. And then the final effect is an effect we don't want. We don't want a sleep formula to make us drowsy, right? Fortunately, or I guess one of the fortunate things in Australia, with all of the regulations around the ingredients that we can't use in sleep formulas, it's kind of difficult to put a formula together that makes you feel drowsy in the morning, but that's an effect we don't want. So, psychological, physical relaxation, keep us asleep, increase the amount of time that we spend in really deep sleep throughout sleep cycles, make sure we don't wake up feeling drowsy. How does the Sleep Plus stack up? This is my personal experience. I've been using this for just over 2 weeks now. This is what I've experienced. Very, very good at helping relax you physically and psychologically. Helping you get to sleep very quickly, helping you get to deep sleep very quickly. I wear an Oura ring. I got the data to prove that shit. My sleep latency reduced. The amount of time it takes for me to get to really deep sleep reduced. The amount of time I spend in deep sleep increased. It does those things very, very well. Very well, in my personal opinion, the way I feel, and I got the Oura data to prove it. Couple of other things it does very well. Drops my heart rate by about 5%. My resting heart rate when I sleep is usually about 60 beats per minute. When I take the Sleep Plus, it's about 56, 57 beats per minute. So it drops my heart rate, which is involved in really deep sleep as well. So I've got the data to prove that as well. Does those things very, very well. What I found it doesn't do so well is doesn't keep me asleep. So I found myself still waking up in the middle of the night. Interestingly enough, sometimes when I've taken the Sleep Plus, I've gotten to that deep sleep so fast that I've woken up and it's been like 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I usually get up at 4. So it's like 2 hours before I get up. And I'm like, I'm ready to go. So I don't know if that's kind of like a side effect of having too much deep sleep, but it's one thing where I have found that it doesn't necessarily stop me from waking up multiple times during the night. A couple of other effects I've experienced on the Sleep Plus. It gives me really vivid dreams. Like I'm talking like, I feel like I'm in like some sort of simulation when I'm sleeping. It's that vivid and the recall of my dreams is exceptional as well. I've noticed that every time I've taken it, I'm like, okay, we're diving into the Matrix tonight. I've had my Sleep Plus. I'm gonna have some vivid dreams tonight. I've definitely noticed that. No morning drowsiness at all, nothing. No morning drowsiness at all. It's one of those products where I wake up, I feel refreshed, I feel like I've had a good sleep, and I'm ready to attack the day forward. So really, when you kind of stack it up, the effects in my personal experience, it's very good at getting you to sleep, not so good at keeping you asleep. I do feel like it increases the amount of really deep sleep you get and the amount of time that you spend in deep sleep, so much so that sometimes I wake up 2 hours before I'm supposed to get up, ready to go, and no morning drowsiness at all. So from an effects perspective, it is hitting a lot of those effects that we ideally want from a sleep support formula. In terms of the side effects, nothing that I've personally experienced at all, aside from, I guess you could call that side effect like waking up too early. Because I'm like, I'm done sleeping. Let's go. It's time to get stuck in. What does it compare to? Couple of sleep formulas that I want to stack this Sleep Plus up against that personally I have used as well. First things first, Primabolics Everyday Sleep. Primabolics Everyday Sleep has slightly more ingredients. We're talking about 16 actives compared to the 13 in the Sleep Plus. Primabolics Everyday Sleep has some of the ingredients that are missing from the Sleep Plus. So it has ashwagandha, it has theanine, it has thops, it has hops, it has thops. That's a new ingredient I just made up. It has hops, it has valerian, but it doesn't have tart cherry, it doesn't have phosphatidylserine, it doesn't have 5-HTP, it doesn't have inositol, it doesn't have lactospore, and it doesn't have B vitamins. So slightly different formulas. Really, there's some things that Everyday Sleep does have that Sleep Plus doesn't, and vice versa in the opposite direction as well. Everyday Sleep has one less flavor at the moment, so 3 flavors compared to 4. It doesn't have, all of the flavors of Everyday Sleep are all kind of like fruity, citrusy type based flavors as well. There's no chocolate or salted caramel or any of those sorts of flavors. Everyday Sleep is artificially sweetened and colored, whereas Sleep Plus is naturally sweetened and colored, and Everyday Sleep is slightly more expensive. So for the same 30 serves, you're talking about $79.95. Night Ops. This is a big one because Night Ops has been, for me personally, my go-to sleep support supplement for, I'm gonna say 5 years now. I'm gonna say like at least, I'm gonna say at least 5 years, probably longer. How does it compare to Night Ops? Well, Night Ops, less active ingredients. So only 11 compared to the 13 active ingredients in Sleep Plus. And there's once again slight variations in the formula. Night Ops has ashwagandha, it has theanine, it has hops, it has L-tryptophan, and it also has Pico 2 for enhanced physical relaxation. However, it doesn't have holy basil, which Sleep Plus does have. It doesn't have phosphatidylserine, which Sleep Plus does have. It doesn't have 5-HTP, it doesn't have lactosporin, it doesn't have B vitamins. So once again, slightly different formulas. Night Ops only has one flavor, which is the Aero-inspired Aero Dreams Choc Mint flavor, whereas Sleep Plus has the 4 flavors. Night Ops is artificially sweetened and colored, whereas Sleep Plus is naturally sweetened and colored. Night Ops is slightly better value for money at $79.95 for 40 serves, as opposed to the Sleep Plus $69.95 for 30 serves. I will just hang on this a little bit because I know a lot of you are going to want to know really how the effects stack up against Night Ops. Once again, my personal opinion. I feel that Sleep Plus is actually better at helping you get to sleep than Night Ops. However, I feel Night Ops is better at just generally improving your sleep quality than Sleep Plus is. I just generally find like I have a better night's sleep. I don't wake up as much. I wake up feeling a little bit more refreshed than I do with Sleep Plus. But those nights where like my mind is racing a million miles an hour, or physically I just feel jacked up and it's really hard to get to sleep, that's where I think Sleep Plus probably outperforms Night Ops, is really just getting you into that relaxed state where you can get to sleep. Who is it best for? The Sleep Plus. Anyone who's looking to improve their sleep, goes without saying, is right there on the tub, Sleep Plus. I think specifically, if you're the sort of person that really has trouble winding down, that really has trouble getting to sleep, whether that's psychologically getting to sleep because your mind's busy at night, whether that's physically getting to sleep, perhaps you train later in the day and you're just physically like worked up and you really find it hard to like just down regulate, get yourself relaxed, get yourself to a point where you can get to sleep. I really think that this is going to be the best sleep formula on the market for you for that purpose in particular. So if you're that sort of person, I really think Sleep Plus is going to be best for you. I do, however, want to compare it to Adrenal Switch real quick. Switch's other relaxation formula, which for at least 5 years now has been their sleep formula. And I know a lot of you watching have used Adrenal Switch as a sleep support formula. I really think Sleep Plus is much more of a sleep support supplement than Adrenal Switch is. Whereas Adrenal Switch, I feel like is much more of a general recovery support supplement than Sleep Plus is. When we go back and we talk about the ingredients that I think were consciously omitted from Sleep Plus by the formulators at Switch, we're talking about the ashwagandha, we're talking about the theanine. Those ingredients are in Adrenal. They're not in Sleep Plus, but they are in Adrenal. So I really think Adrenal is kind of really focused at like that cortisol regulation effect, that real kind of recovery effect. I mean, it's called Adrenal Switch, right? Like it's designed to really kind of take care of your adrenal system, whereas Sleep Plus really has been formulated to just like get you to sleep and really improve your sleep. So I think that's kind of how they stack up. If you are the sort of person that has been using Adrenal Switch as a sleep support aid, I think you're absolutely gonna love Sleep Plus. And I think you'll try Sleep Plus and you go, you know what, this is actually much better for sleep than Adrenal Switch. You might still use Adrenal Switch as like a post-workout recovery type product, but I think Sleep Plus is where you're gonna move to because it is just a much more comprehensive sleep support formula than Adrenal Switch. Last but not least, price and value for money. $69.95 for the 30 serve tub, breaks out at $2.33 per serve. Guys, imagine spending just over $2 a night to get better sleep. Imagine what's that, what, don't even look at it as an expense, look at it as an investment. What's that worth to you as an investment? Think about how much more productive you're gonna be in the workplace. Think about how much more productive you're gonna be in the physical space, whatever sort of workouts you do. Just think about the quality of life that you are going to experience an improvement in for just over $2 a night. I mean, it's not, it's price and value for money, like just price. $69.95, 30 serves, value for money, like literally infinite. Guys, if you're in the market for a good sleep support supplement that specifically is really good at relaxing you, getting you to sleep, you can't go past the Switch Sleep Plus. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the MJ Fitness YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on your mobile, your cell phone, your desktop PC, your smart TV, and whatever other device you are watching this video on. Guys, that is MJ's Fitness Raw review on Switch Sleep Plus, and I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au.